Welcome back to another video. My name is Derek. Today we're going to be taking a look at an Apple Watch Series 9. It's got an issue with the microphone. It sounds really muffled. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Now what I'm going to cover today applies to basically any device with a microphone. Most of the time either the microphone's going bad or something's blocking the microphone from actually picking up the sound. If there's no sound whatsoever being picked up, then it's probably a bad mic. It could be a board related issue, but that's for another video. Replacing the mic itself, if you have the right tools, costs literally like zero. Now of course you can replace the whole flex that the microphone comes on, whether it's a charge port on an iPhone or in this case a flex cable on the watch itself. This one is soldered and the flex cable isn't readily available due to its new model. So I'm going to show you how we work on it. Alright, here I've got an Apple Watch. This is a Series 9, 45mm. It has got an issue with the microphone. It's extremely muffled, which means one of two things. Either the microphone is going bad or something happened to the position of the microphone hole, which is most likely the case in this account. As I look inside the hole, the mesh isn't in the right spot, so I think something poked in there and moved it. In order to open this watch, I'm going to be using a thin, flexible metal tool here. I'll push it down into the gap. The stainless steels ones have a little bit tighter gaps, same with the ceramic, the Hermes ones. If I wedge this down in there, and I pry it a little bit to create enough of a gap that I could stick a piece of plastic down inside and cut through the adhesive. And I'll just carefully follow around the edge here, cutting through the resistive adhesive. This may not be so easy your first time. You have to find that right spot and have the right tension and the right piece of plastic. And we'll meet back up where we started. It'll pop up just like that. Now we'll get at the microphone down in there. I'm going to remove the battery. A bottle with the needle nose with some isopropyl alcohol. Just going to put a couple drops under the battery there. And I'm going to gently wedge the tool in here and lift. You can see it'll start to want to come up a little bit. Add some more there and we'll just wait for the adhesive to fully let go. And then it'll come up. We'll unscrew the screw for the battery connector. Gently set the screw and the little bracket aside. Gently pop the battery connector just like that. And we'll set that aside as well. And the tricky part to get at the two screws here is not damaging this orange flex. But I can go in, if I'm careful, and we can unscrew the top screw there. And then get to the second screw and pull it out. And we can take the cover that covers up the microphone, pop it out. And now I can gently pry on the microphone and pop it backwards. This way I can examine it and see if it's just that the mesh got messed with, if it's dirty, if it needs cleaning, what all I can do to fix it. Now microphones are fairly universal. In fact, this microphone is nearly identical to the microphones on all other Apple Watches and even most Apple products. The only difference really comes down to the flex cable that it's on. Not all the flex cables are the same, obviously. But you can, for the most part, swap out this microphone itself with another one using a little bit of soldering. Let me show you kind of what that looks like. Alright, so to show you guys how to replace the microphone, because this is kind of the fun tips and trick part of things, I'm going to first install just a flat heat plate on my XZZ L2023 hot plate station. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and let it heat up. Alright, when it reaches temperature, it's going to beep. Okay, and now I can take it down and put it on the heat plate. I'm just going to take some tweezers here and I'm going to grab onto the microphone and it'll just pop away just like that. You can see the ring where the hole is and then the 4 solder joints for this particular one. And to put it back, it's quite simple. I'm going to take a teeny tiny bit of flux. We'll put the microphone back in alignment and we'll set it gently back on. Let it heat up. Give it a teeny tiny nudge. Just a little tap.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo.
And it's on. Alright, let's quickly take a look at the microphone. and it's now very clear as to why the sound was muffled. The amount of debris that is in the mesh there explains it all. I carefully wedge off that piece, break it away from the actual mic, just like that. You can see the actual hole there where the sound should pass through. It'll travel through those 7 tiny little holes there, but it first has to make it past the mesh here. I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol, and I've got a little fiberglass brush here, and I'll carefully clean up all of the debris, bringing back to life the mesh there. Try not to drop it and lose it. Now you could just pull one from another watch and install it over the mic, or you can just take the time to clean it. And this should fix the issue. Take a little bit of air, I'll even come in through the back with the air, and now you can see down and through that mesh there. So small, and boy, it makes my hands look dirty. And one thing we can do if we want to is we can carefully actually lift the mesh out of there, or at least enough to expose the inside so we can clean it better. Add another drop of isopropyl alcohol. And I'll gently push the mesh back down inside. And of course, the last step is going to be reinstalling it, lining it back up, and then I can actually see quite a bit of debris down in the opening there. Not in the whole opening, but around it. I'm going to take some time to carefully clean that, scoop it out, spray it out with some air, then we'll push the microphone back into its slot. Alright, now I'm going to grab our little microphone cover, we'll line it on up. Alright, then we'll take the top screw and we will screw it on down, making sure it's nice and tight. And then we'll put in the bottom screw, making sure it's nice and tight as well. And although it's hard to see now when I look down inside the hole there, I can see the mesh nice and clear. The microphone should be back to not being so muffled. Alright, now that we've got the microphone all fixed and back, we'll go ahead and connect up the battery connector, and then we'll put back the bracket for the battery, screw that on down, push down the battery back onto the adhesive, go ahead and push the power button, make sure it still turns on. We will want to go around and clean up all of the old adhesive around the border on both the frame and the screen. And I'm going to use some cold press glue to put it back together to ensure a decent amount of water resistance. Yeah, this watch is basically all ready to go after some thorough testing. Those are 2 ways to fix the microphone. There is obviously the third option, which is replacing the whole flex cable itself. But if you're in a time crunch and you don't want to get the part, and it's something as simple as cleaning it or even just swapping it out using that simple method I showed, that'll save you a bit of time. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.